Carl, everybody out there knows that data protection is very important. And there's all kinds of data brokers out there. They get your name, contact info, social security, home address. They compile the data and then they sell it. Everyone on the web can buy your private details. We all get these random spam calls. I'm getting one right now as we speak. They must be hearing me. Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone else vulnerable. If you haven't, you probably know somebody who has. Delete Me is your help. Take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me now at a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/pro. Use the promo code PRO at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/pro. Use the promo code PRO.
Lowe's early Black Friday deals are going fast. Don't miss up to 50% off select major appliances. Plus, up to an extra 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. And with Christmas around the corner, you're going to need more string lights, right? Save $4 on GE LED 100-count string lights, now just $5.98. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 12/3. Selection varies by location. Select locations only. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Looking for these better days.
It is Monday, November 24th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. An exciting Sunday of NFL action ended with a Rams rout on Sunday Night Football. Week 12 will wrap up tonight with the 49ers hosting the Panthers on Monday Night Football. And the Las Vegas Raiders have fired the highest-paid offensive coordinator in the NFL. Mackenzie Rivers joins me on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. And Mac, let's start with that breaking news that happened last night. The Las Vegas Raiders have fired offensive coordinator Chip Kelly after their 24-10 loss to the Cleveland Browns. The Raiders are 2-9 this year. And they fired a guy who earlier in the season, or earlier before the season, made him, the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL? Now you fired him before the season's over? Wow.
I did not know that. I did not know he was the highest paid. I mean, rarely do NFL head coaches, which he was for two different organizations, accept that demotion to offensive coordinator. He went to college before and after the NFL. But here are the worst teams by offensive EPA when you remove turnovers, which to me is just saying removing the luck factor. The Browns are the worst. They've gone through a few different quarterbacks. They have no offensive to speak of. Stefanski, two-time coach of the year, probably stays another year, but not looking good. Second worst is the Titans. They fired their offensive play-calling head coach. Can't do anything besides that. Then's the Raiders. And besides that is the Saints. It makes sense. The Raiders were not supposed to be the Titans or the Browns or the Saints this year. So they got to make changes. Pete Carroll probably wants to pass the buck.
Yep. And speaking of that game, let's just talk about that game because we're on it. Let's just get into it.
Are you going to apologize, Shedeur Sanders, for his 9 QBR with a win?
Again,
Note with a win.
I love that I read last night, and I don't want to come off as a hater, but I love that I read yesterday articles about how Shedeur Sanders' win in his debut is going to make the Browns rethink their quarterback situation. Or Kevin Stefanski's got a real decision to make about who's going to be the starter moving forward. Do you realize that Shedeur Sanders had a terrible game at quarterback yesterday? He was 11 of 20 for 209 yards, a touchdown and an interception. That touchdown came on a 1-yard screen pass that Dylan Sampson took to the house for 66 yards. Okay? I gave
out fast.
I gave this out on our prop sheet, Mackenzie. I was on Shedeur Sanders to go over his passing yardage prop. This was a stone cold under. He was at 140-something passing yards in the fourth quarter. And I'm like, we're dead. The Browns are winning. They're just going to run the football. There's no reason for this to go over. When that pass happened and Sampson ran it 66 yards to the house, I honestly thought I wasn't going to get credit for a pass. I thought it was going to – no, I literally –
Was it close?
It was very close.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be, oh no, is that going to be a lateral? Is that going to be a backwards pass? But no, it was like 1 yard in front of the line of scrimmage. But it was –
They usually give the benefit of the doubt to the passer.
Yes. It was a screen pass, okay? Yeah. He still threw a terrible interception right to the defense, and he finished with, as you mentioned, an 8.7 QBR. Geno Smith had a higher QBR in that game yesterday.
I'm not saying much. Dylan Gabriel is the one we're comparing him to, and Dylan Gabriel's been either the worst or the second worst quarterback with Cam Ward, depending how you look at it.
Yeah.
But his stats have been a lot better than Shedeur Sanders. So I'm not sure if you're risking anything by staying with Sanders or going to Gabriel, but neither of them are, by the way, approaching Joe Flacco's efficiency with the Browns earlier this year. So neither of them seem to have any promise why you'd want not to take a quarterback with the high draft pick that you're going to get next year.
Yes.
Which I think is the first draft pick they've had since the Deshaun Watson trade in the first round. So, yeah, they're ready to reload.
Yeah, I think so. But let's whatever. Listen, the reason why the Browns won this game was because of their defense. This was identified in the Trench Report. The reason
good call by the Trench Report, plus 3.5.
It made so much sense. It made no sense that the Raiders were favored in this game. It was so dumb that the Raiders were favored in this game. They've done nothing to deserve to be favored in a game like this. Meanwhile, the Browns have the best defensive line in all of football, and they showed it with 10 sacks of Geno Smith in this game. 10.
Strahan mentioned it. The sack record is now in play. With a few games to play, Myles Garrett is 5 away from history.
He's going to get it. He's absolutely going to get it. All right, so that was the Browns with the 24-10 win over the Raiders. That was one of the Trench Report wins. The Trench Report yesterday, 5-0 straight up with 2 outright underdog winners. And in fact, I did some housekeeping, Mackenzie, and I looked back at since we started publishing the Trench Report, here are the results. And again, I always say this every week. It doesn't care about the spread, okay? The Trench Report is not about the spread of the game because it doesn't know the spread, and it also doesn't know who the quarterback is or the wide receiver or the running back. We don't care about that. The Trench Report was designed to figure out the answer: is the game truly won in the trenches? Can we simplify handicapping, or can we look at an aspect of the game that the market maybe overlooks, right? So when we see a team that has an advantage in the trenches, but they are an underdog in the game, we have to wonder, maybe the market's not looking at how good this team is on the offensive and defensive line. Clearly, with the Raiders and the Browns, that was the case. The market was not looking at how great the defensive line was for the Cleveland Browns. So, Trench Report results since we started publishing it. Top 5 overall mismatches of the week, 29-11 straight up, with 10 outright underdog winners.
That's crazy. That's a lot of underdog winners.
That's a lot of underdog winners. 10 out of the 29 winners have been underdogs. I mean, now some of these favorites have been heavy favorites. I haven't gone back and done like all the money line calculations on this, but I would venture with these underdog winners, I would venture that it's made a lot of money. I
mean, yeah, because there are 40 picks, 29 winners, 11 losers. How many underdogs have there been? There can't be that much more than 10. Yep. It must be like 10 and 5 or something. I would venture. Let's get that exact numbers for our people.
No, it could be the case there. So, just man, what a good run it's been. What a good run it's been. The rest of the Trench Report winners from yesterday, as it went 5-0 straight up. It was the Trench Report win for the Patriots was the number one mismatch. They defeated the Cincinnati Bengals. They win, but they don't cover. But they
could have covered. You could have got the 5.5 early in the week. But
yeah, sure, depending on the number, yes. But the final score there was a 26-20 victory for the Bengals for the Patriots over the Bengals.
So Trench Report comes out Wednesdays, right?
Yes.
Wednesday morning.
Yes.
So if you are an avid Better Day subscriber, then you got that email. You bet the minus 5.5 when it popped up Wednesday evening. You're good. But yeah, you probably didn't. So whatever.
It's a tremendous point, Mackenzie, because as we launch our, subscription tiers today, if you are a Better Day Insider or Better Day Premium member, you will have access to the Trench Report each and every week. And also, If you are a Better Day Premium member, you will have access to our, weekly Q&A chats that we're going to do with professional bettors and handicappers, and what it could be a topic of conversation that you want to bring up this Friday with our first pro bettor that you can maybe ask them about how
and
they
bookmakers
handle
too down the line, right?
What's that?
And bookmakers as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
I'd be interested if a bookmaker would be like, don't look at the trench report. It's too strong.
No,
do something else on Wednesday.
Absolutely. Let's move down the trench report. So that was a win here for the New England Patriots in the trench report, 26-20 over the Cincinnati Bengals. The question is, as we talk about the Bengals, will Joe Burrow play next week? What do you think, Mackenzie?
Yes, I would make it an 85% wager. Okay. The fact that the line moved is one thing. The fact that they were thinking about him this week means they're doing it for a reason. A lot of people disagree, thinking you should protect him. But Zach Taylor doesn't think he has a few months to waste as far as protecting his own job. So they want to get him out there. Only 7-point dogs versus the Ravens, who've won 5 in a row. That tells me he's playing.
Okay, we will wait and see. Number
you
2.
Bet me? I'll lay 400. I'll lay minus 400.
Oh my goodness,
I'm feeling saucy.
My goodness. We talked about the Browns. That was the number 2 biggest mismatch of the week. The number 3 biggest mismatch of the week: the Jacksonville Jaguars over the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this was a game I actually thought the Cardinals were going to be competitive in, which is why, if you looked at the picks page up on BetterDay.com, the Cardinals were a part of a teaser that I gave out and won with it was the 3-leg teaser at plus 140. We teased the Steelers up from 2.5 to 8.5, the Cardinals up from 2.5 to 8.5, and the Falcons up from 1.5 to 7.5. So we cashed that teaser. Cardinals and Jaguars went into overtime. Jacksonville won 27-24. One of the aspects, though, of the trench report, and it, we talked about which parts of the game they had the advantage in. Well, it was both the run attack and the pass rush. And Travis Etienne went over his rushing yardage prop with 86 yards. And the Jaguars defense sacked Jacoby Brissett 6 times for 44 yards of loss. And so they win in overtime 27-24. Mackenzie, Jacoby Brissett's fun to watch at quarterback. I know I knocked him earlier, and I said he's good for like one game, and that's it. You don't want him to play any more games. Like, okay, they're not winning these games, but the dude's putting up numbers, and the Cardinals they're scoring points.
49 attempts, almost as many as he had when he had 47 or more than 47 completions against the Niners. It's very much like Joe Flacco earlier in the year. It's like, we're not going to try with the Michael Carter running damn night. We're gonna chuck it every time we can get it. That makes it for fun TV.
Yeah. Elsewhere in the trench report, it was the Atlanta Falcons over the New Orleans Saints, and the Falcons win outright 24-10 over New Orleans. Kirk Cousins didn't really have to do much in this game because the Saints offense couldn't do anything against the Falcons defense. Cousins was 16 of 23 for 199 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Bijan Robinson had 70 yards, and without Drake London, Darnell Mooney was the leading receiver for the Falcons. 3 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Shuck did throw for 243 yards, 30 of 43 passing, Mackenzie. Did throw an interception. They had no running game to speak of whatsoever after Alvin Kamara re-injured himself. And Saints never able to put a threat into the Atlanta Falcons.
Why were the Saints favored in this game? I know.
Don't understand. I don't get it.
I know Drake London wasn't there, but that just seems like a mistake in hindsight.
100%.
They're 2-9.
Yeah, 100%. It was a mistake in hindsight. And the other trench report, the number 5 biggest mismatch was the Seattle Seahawks over the Tennessee Titans. A game where, like, if you had the Seahawks minus 12.5 or minus 13, like, I'm sorry. Like, they should have covered that game. Like, they were covering. This was a 30-10 game that they were covering, 30-17 going into the fourth quarter, where you're still covering, right? Because if you laid the 12.5, guess what? You're still covering 30-17. Then the Seahawks turn it over on downs at the Tennessee 41-yard line. So you're thinking maybe they can get more points on this drive, maybe they can get into field goal range, whatever. Nope, they turn it over on downs, and then Cam Ward throws a touchdown pass with 43 seconds left, and the game ends 30-24. Seahawks win. They were never in jeopardy of losing, but man, that's a tough backdoor cover.
What are you doing laying 13.5 points on the road if you're Sam Darnold? I don't know. I would have, I lean that way in the game. What you should have done, though, is played it in Survivor because we're still alive. Thank you. Thank you, Titans. I can't thank any other team besides the Titans. It's like every week. Who the Titans playing? Colts? Love it. Seahawks? Love it. Next week, I'm saving the Niners for when they play the Titans. It's one of the most consistent ways to get through Survivor.
Well, that was honestly going to be my strategy the entire season, was just to play every team against the Tennessee Titans in Survivor. The problem is their one win of the season was the win that knocked me out of Survivor, which
was one of the flukiest wins.
Exactly, when they beat the Cardinals. But I was fully prepared to run through the entirety of the season going against the Tennessee Titans. But not to be the case. Not to be here. All right, let's talk about some of the other results from yesterday. Bears beat the Steelers 31-28. Caleb Williams looked good, threw for 3 touchdowns, 239 yards. Mason Rudolph was very serviceable. Steelers had every opportunity to win that game. They dominated on the ground, right? 92 rushing yards for Kenneth Gainwell, 68 for Jalen Warren. But the Bears pull another victory out, Mackenzie, and this is an 8-3 team now that has a negative point differential. I'll let that sink in for a moment.
That's crazy.
The Bears are 8-3 with a negative point differential.
Every week we say no one believes in the Bears, and I'm not sure that they should. The Eagles are another team that seems to be much worse than their record, but I think they're going to kill them on Black Friday this Friday. I think there's going to be a lot of regression to what they actually are for Chicago. I mean, do you see that interception on the sideline? Like one-handed, like Jerry Rice hasn't had a catch that nice in his NFL career. 5th interception of the season for that guy.
Just, unbelievable. Elsewhere, the Lions come from behind and beat the Giants 34-27 in overtime. Jameis Winston, so much fun. What a great game. Remember last week when I said, you know what would be awesome? Let's put a little sprinkle on Jameis Winston to be the weekly leader in passing yardage. And I realized I was a week too early because Jameis Winston was the leader in passing yardage yesterday with 366 yards against the Detroit Lions.
I think you and Chris Dell were talking about James Winston anytime touchdown score. Again, a week too early.
A week early.
Yeah.
Let's have the conversation, Mac. The Giants have a lead 27-24 in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. They drive down to the 8-yard line, okay? And it's 1st and goal at the – I think they were at the 4-yard line, right? 1st and goal at the 4-yard line. They run the football, and Detroit calls their first timeout. There's 3 minutes and 11 seconds left in the game. On 2nd down, the Giants attempted a pass. That was the first mistake and the biggest mistake.
If they score a touchdown, it's not a mistake, but they don't keep the clock running.
Exactly.
So it doesn't work out.
So big mistake there. Then they run the ball on 3rd down and goal and get stuffed and force the Lions to call their second timeout. 4th and goal from the 6-yard line.
Yeah, they didn't just get stuffed. They lost 4 yards.
Yes.
So big mistake there.
Okay. 4th and goal from the 6-yard line. There's 2 minutes and 59 seconds left. Do you kick the field goal or do you go for the touchdown? I understand the analytics, which tells you that the winning percentage, well, first of all, you score a touchdown, the game's over. You're going to win the game, right?
Yes.
But, I'm going to make several counter arguments here.
Right. And we were texting with the great Steve Fezzik, who said, this is a no-brainer, which I disagree with. I would have brained it. I would have not non-brained it. I would have brained it. I would have thought about this.
Yes. So Fez is always of the mindset of, if you're
it's a simulation.
Yes.
It's a simulation. Play the numbers.
If you're the opposition, what do you want them to do? Like, if you're the Lions, you want them to kick the field goal because you want them to go up 6 and then kick the football off to you. You get a fresh series starting at the 30 or the 35 or maybe even more, and you know you need a touchdown, and you have 1 timeout, the 2-minute warning, and you know all 4 downs you're going for a touchdown. My counter argument to that would be that if you if you kick the field goal and go up 6, you need the opposition to score a touchdown and kick the extra point. And the extra point's not a guarantee anymore in the NFL. We have seen many extra points get missed. But also, by knowing that you need the opposition to score a touchdown, your defense can kind of play that bend, don't break style where you can allow them to catch something in front of you and then you tackle them, because the clock is also your ally there. When you go for it and don't get it, even though you pin them back on the 5-yard line, the 4-yard line, or maybe the goal line, let's say, right? Like the best case scenario for you is if you don't get it and they're down on their own goal line. What do we know about field goals now in the NFL? It's almost a gimme. Like that not that they're gonna make it, but they're gonna attempt it indoors, perfect conditions. We're talking about the Lions only needing to get to maybe the 40-yard line, the 45-yard line to kick a field goal. You essentially cut the field in half. So
go ahead.
Well, I'm saying, so like let's do the math, right? Would you rather have a defense that is defending, let's say if they start on the goal line and the field goal range is the 45 to make it a 60-yard field goal, a 45, 55, 62-yard field goal, right? Whatever, right?
Right.
Would you rather have them defend 55 yards, okay, the goal line to the 45, or if you give them the touchback, they start the ball on the 30 or say 35-yard line, have to defend 70 yards? Or 65 yards. Now, my math says defending 70 yards is going to be easier than defending 55 yards.
It's no question. And it's not just that it's 70 yards. The end zone is the hardest yards to get. Like, it's much easier to have a 20-yard pass at the 50 than it is to have a 20-yard pass at the 20. There's just less space that the defense has to cover. A couple factors makes this a trickier decision, and I think I would have kicked the field goal. Number one, it was at the 6-yard line, not the 1-yard line. So the advantage you get when you pin a team at the 1 is that you're threatening a safety. They have to play a certain way. At the 6, in your home stadium where the crowd is not going to be going crazy, you're not worried about a safety. That might as well be the 20. You know, you're going to be able to run your normal offense and, like you said, get 50 yards for the field goal. The second thing, it's just not that easy to get a 6-yard play again, where they're in the end zone. They know every inch of grass or turf that they have to cover. If that's a 50% play at the 4th and 6, I would say go for it. I think it's more like a 20% play. I think it's very unlikely you get the touchdown there. So if I have a Lions money line ticket, I disagree with Fez. I'm not super happy if they're kicking a field goal. I think it makes it tough. The last piece of the puzzle, why I kick the field goal and risk the other team scoring a touchdown, it's because I'm a huge underdog in this game. I'm a 14-point underdog in this game. If it goes to overtime, and I looked at the live line, Lions were minus 300.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, it's overtime, it's a coin flip. They are most likely going to have the better of the 2 or 3 possessions that you get. So, I mean, I guess because it's an interim coach and you're like, why not, get in the good graces of my team by being super aggressive and going for it? I think the analytics, I think if it was accurate, I think it's a slightly negative EV play to go for it there.
All right, well, the Lions get the win. Giants fall to 2-10, but it was a fun game to watch. Okay. Packers beat the Vikings 23-6. Another subpar performance from J.J. McCarthy. Is it time to say that the Vikings made the wrong decision?
Shout out to my man at Dan Rivera 228 for sending me this stat on Twitter. That's his Twitter handle. 852 quarterbacks have dropped back since the year 2000. J.J. McCarthy, in EPA per play, ranks 851. If you're curious, the only guy since the year 2000 out of those 852 quarterbacks to do worse on a per-play basis, Jamarcus Russell. So both first-round picks, both not long for the league, both massive mistakes by the organization. And with J.J. McCarthy, it's worse because it's 2 mistakes. 1, they drafted him at 10. 2, they got rid of Sam Darnold, currently like 6th favorite to win MVP for this guy. I know I generally like teams being more aggressive, and you're not going to win a championship with Sam Darnold, I don't think. So them saying, hey, let's see what the young kid has. I respect the guts, the cojones, but it was a mistake. I mean, he's not going to be – it's not like there's a guy that's 850th that turned out to be good. When you're that low, I think you got to start cutting your losses at this point if you're the Vikings.
Packers improved to 7-3-1, and we'll take on the Lions on Thanksgiving. We'll have more on that game coming up a little bit later on in the week. Let's move on to the marquee matchup of the afternoon. The Chiefs with a 23-20 overtime win over the Indianapolis Colts. Several things bother me about this game, Mackenzie. One, the idea that the Colts are going to be rewarded in the public's opinion because of this performance. And two, the idea that the Chiefs are going to be downgraded in some aspect. Kansas City dominated this football game. They absolutely dominated this football game. I don't want to hear
33 first downs to 10.
30,
you rarely, if ever, see that
exactly.
kind of gap.
I don't want to see anybody say, the Colts are actually pretty good. They went into Arrowhead and they took the Chiefs into overtime.
They were up 11 in the second half.
They were up 11 in the second half, and oh man, the Chiefs, they just narrowly escaped they finally won a one-score game. I mean, my goodness, this Chiefs team is very vulnerable. This Chiefs team is the second best team in the NFL. Analytically speaking, you look at everything, they're the second best team in the NFL. All right, it's the Rams and it's the Chiefs. Okay, and I understand the record is the record. I'm not talking about the record right now. This game in particular, the Kansas City Chiefs dominated, and there were 2 turnovers in this game that was almost a 14-point swing in the score. The first interception by Mahomes on his own 6-yard line, when it gets tipped up in the air and the defensive lineman comes down with it, literally gave the Colts 7 points. And then when the Chiefs fumbled at the 17-yard line, it took away at least a field goal. That's at least 3 points. Could have been 7 points. We're going to call that 5 points on the EPA, maybe 5.5 on the EPA. We're talking about a 12 to 13 point swing on those 2 turnovers. This game could have been a double-digit win by the Kansas City Chiefs, and maybe should have been a double-digit win by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, but it's a win, and they're 6-5, and that's great. They are likely to make the playoffs. And by the way, you look at Super Bowl odds, they're 10-1. The Rams are better. The Eagles are better. Not many people are better than 10-1. I think the market's accurate here. I don't think it's just giving them credit for past performance, because I think they're better this year, again, statistically, than they were last year when they made the Super Bowl and they went 15-1. I have this dashboard here with a bunch of stats from pregame, from Kevin Cole, from PFF, EPA that I do myself. And the Rams are the best team in the league. The Colts would be the second best team in the league if it wasn't for strength of schedule. When you make that adjustment, they're like 6th. And third is the Chiefs, who get upgraded when you look at their strength of schedule, which has been top 10 in the league as far as difficulty. They're they're unfortunate to be 6-5. They should be 8-3, whatever it is. But it doesn't matter if they get into the tournament. I think they're as likely as anyone outside of the Rams to win it all.
That's a great point there, Mackenzie. Ravens beat the Jets 23-10. Tyrod Taylor at quarterback for the Jets kept them competitive, and the Ravens win. They don't cover because this game closed at 2 touchdowns. Another win for the Ravens, though, another non-cover for the Ravens. Are we concerned about Baltimore at all?
Another win on the prop sheet for Lamar Jackson under rushing yards.
Love it.
It's not even close.
Love it.
And that's why I think the Ravens are, even though they pretty much met expectations, they're downgraded versus the Bengals next week from 7.5-point favorites to now 7, with the anticipation that Joe Burrow's coming back, because their offense for a while now hasn't been their offense. Really, since Lamar Jackson got hurt against the Chiefs, who won that game by like 30 points, by the way. That's probably the best win over the Chiefs this year. But since he's gone out, since he's come back, he hasn't been the same. He hasn't been even an average quarterback, which is what used to separate this team.
That's yep. I think the Bengals, if Joe Burrow plays, they might win that game. That's unbelievable.
I will be very happy from a Survivor perspective watching that game.
That's
unbelievable.
Cowboys, a 24-21 win over the Eagles, something that we have to acknowledge. And I've said it before, maybe leading into this game, the Cowboys defense is much better than what they were. Since they acquired Quinn and Williams, we only had one data point, right? And it's not just Quinn and Williams, like it's their entire. They got the other player. I forgot his name.
Jerry Jones. Give him credit. That team stops the run.
The other guy
team stops the run.
Logan Wilson, right? So they brought in some more players, right? So we only had the one data point, and that was against the Raiders, and we know the Raiders are bad. Now we have a second data point here where they held Saquon Barkley in check. They held this Eagles offense in check. Eagles scored 21 points in the first half. They didn't score in the second half. And I think that we need to, and the Trench Report also it's not faulty in this regard, because like the numbers do get better each and every week. Like the PFF numbers are always going to get better. But when I look at the results-based numbers, like the win, like the next-gen stats and stuff, it's still going to factor in the terrible results from earlier in the season, you know?
Right.
So those bad performances earlier in the year are downgrading the overall numbers for this Cowboys defense. But if you look at this game, you look at last week's game, even before the trade deadline, before the bye, Cowboys defense has been playing a lot better. We need to start reevaluating our perception of the Dallas Cowboys.
I like them against the Chiefs this week. I know I was talking about the Chiefs are good. I think the Cowboys were 3-point dogs versus the Eagles. Now they're 3.5 at home versus the Chiefs. I think that is disrespectful. I think they need a massive upgrade. Since week 7, so a while now, they are the number 1 team in stopping the rush EPA per game. I think that's not a coincidence. I mean, maybe stopping the rush isn't as important as stopping the pass in the modern NFL. But if you hold Saquon Barkley, and that was before this game, to 22 yards on 10 attempts, you're going to give yourself a chance against a team like the Eagles.
Do you think that I know that they're going to be a popular play. I know that 3.5 is very attractive for the Cowboys on Thanksgiving against the
It was 4.5 before these games. So market moved.
But do we think the Chiefs are the Chiefs how much better than they are than the Eagles? I think the Chiefs are better than the Eagles, right?
I think the Chiefs are better than the Eagles too, but
So
I think
why is
the
this-
Eagles line was wrong. I think the Eagles line was wrong.
Okay. All right. Well, because that's
I think the Cowboys deserve an upgrade.
okay. Okay.
Also, there's this stat, and shout out to RJ Bell for texting me this, but teams that are overtime winners then travel on the road 5-25 ATS in that game. It's a good trend. It's a good trend.
Well, there's also the trend that we
that play on Thursday.
yes. Well, that was the trend that we talked about when we were fading the Raiders against the Broncos, and it didn't work out.
Did not work.
Didn't work out. So, and that was even worse. We were like, and they're traveling to Denver, right?
Yeah, I guess it was 4-25, and then
It was
5-25.
it was like, yeah, it was like short week Thursday. They're coming off overtime. It was like the most. Actually, I have the updated numbers here. That was where I tweeted it out several weeks ago. Let's see if I can pull that up.
The Raiders were also on the road, and they're also a mile high.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was an unbelievable thing here on the trends. That was like it was a dominant thing here. Man, where was it? Why did I? Anyway, oh well, you said RJ had those numbers. That's probably accurate. Mine probably not that far off on those numbers. But anyway, so yeah. It didn't work out for us earlier in the year. Maybe it works out for us here in this one fading.
It's at least a reason not to unload on the Chiefs.
Yes. All right, that's fair. It's a reason to not unload on the Kansas City Chiefs. Recapping our prop sheet, Mackenzie, from yesterday. We sent out the prop sheet as this is our new feature for BetterDay.com subscribers.
Shop around for the best numbers. That's what I'll say about that.
That's honestly the only thing that we have to say is shop around for the best numbers. And you know something? I hope that for those of you that did get the prop sheet in your email and played this, you did play better numbers on all of these props. So the results of the prop sheet in week 11, last week was not a great week. It was 11-16 on the props, right? And it was down about 6-7 units. Yesterday,
6-7.
Don't do that. Yes,
You did that. I didn't try.
Yesterday, the prop sheet went 14-12, up $12. Okay. So positive, 14-12.
Break even.
Mackenzie, there were 5 prop losses by a half a yard. I'm talking about Darnell Washington over
Or a half a rush attempt or a half a pass attempt.
I'm talking like Darnell Washington over 22.5. He finishes with 22. Daniel Jones 16.5 finishes with 15 or under 15.5 finishes with 16. Ashton Genty 16.5 carries on under, he finishes with 17. Like it was the most ridiculous 5 losses by a half by the hook. The prop sheet could have easily went, what was that math? 19-7?
Easily 19-7. and if you shopped around, hopefully you went 18-8 or something.
Yeah. I feel like, directionally we were correct. on a lot of those props yesterday in the prop sheet. We will continue to send those out each and every game day there, or really the Sunday game day. Maybe we'll do a separate one for Thanksgiving, but the Sunday game day at 6 a.m. Eastern time, you'll get them in your inbox, and that way you can shop around and hopefully find the best numbers prior to kickoff on your NFL Sunday, exclusively for Better Day Insider and Premium members. Okay, let us talk about Monday Night Football, Mackenzie, and build us a same-game parlay.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
Monday Night Football will wrap up Week 12 tonight. The San Francisco 49ers are hosting the Carolina Panthers, and up on FanDuel right now, the 49ers a 7.5-point favorite with a total of 49.5. Like we do with the primetime games, Mackenzie, let us build a same-game parlay. I love the 49ers here in this game.
You do?
I think they roll. I really do. Is it going to look like the Rams last night? I don't know, but I do think they roll.
I think it's going to look very similar to the Cardinals game, where they had the number one success rate in the league that week. That was last week, right? And it's because they have all their weapons back. They have Pearsall. He didn't have any catches last week, but the fact that he's out there, he's running close to full speed. I'm very optimistic he's going to be back to the guy that was one of the EPA per play leaders, or EPA per target leaders early part in the season. And they have McCaffrey, who's going to give you 120 scrimmage yards every single game. And they have Kittle, who kind of is the guy that teams decide to leave open. Like, you take away the deep threats, you take away the underneath stuff with McCaffrey. Kittle's just wide open in the middle more often than not. I expect them to roll. You look at the statistics, I think offensively they're better than they have been. Defensively, they're not, but I'm not sure the Panthers, like the Rams took advantage of that. They scored 5 touchdowns in 6 possessions. The game was over against the Niners. Panthers are not that type of team to really expose the 49ers' weakness. That said, I like the 49ers. You want to put them 7.5. You want to put over 29.5 points. I like their offense a lot. I think the Panthers throw a lot in this game, much like when Brissett threw a record amount of completions. I think they're down. I think the Niners are a bend but not break defense, and I think Bryce Young at 207.5 is really underpriced. He threw for 400 last game. If he throws for half of that, 440, then we get a win here. So I would suggest we do the Niners minus 7.5, and I think game script wise and just matchup wise, we go Bryce Young over 207.5.
Okay, let's one by one. Let's repeat this. Okay, so what is your first leg for the same game parlay? Go ahead.
Bryce Young over 207.5 passing.
Okay, that is your leg number one for the same game parlay tonight. Mackenzie Rivers is recommending that we are going Bryce Young to go over his passing yardage prop. And right now up on FanDuel, we have Bryce Young over 204.5 passing yards. Even better.
Nice.
Even better. All right. What is your leg number two, Mackenzie Rivers?
And it's almost related where I have to say it in the same breath, which I did. Maybe not broadcasting technique, but Niners minus 7.5. That's why I don't like Bryce Young to kill the Niners defense as much as be in a situation where he's throwing a lot.
And that is adding the Niners minus 7.5 with the Bryce Young over 204.5 passing yards. It makes a plus 282 two-leg same game.
So they're saying it's anti-correlated. I disagree. I think it's a little correlated. I thought it'd be 230. So we're getting more than plus 260, which is the Mendoza line of if it's correlated or anti-correlated.
Now, you said something earlier that I think is very interesting, which is a leg that I think we can include in this, is you talked about George Kittle being open in the middle of the field. Well, George Kittle's, receptions prop is at 4.5, or his receiving yardage prop is at 56.5. Which one would you rather go on?
Let's see. Let me do a little game log search, because he's played 3 games with
Brock Purdy.
And he's caught a touchdown in all of them.
Panthers against tight ends so far this season. We have 5 catches, 8 catches, 5 catches, 3 catches, 11, 5, 3, 4, 5, 7, 2. Yardage, though, 65, 123, 34, 63, 116, 43, 31, 53, 54, 122, and 14.
I think we go yardage. He's caught a touchdown. He's actually played 2 games with Purdy. Caught a touchdown in either of them. I'm not sure they're going to need him if they get up big. He might break an 80-yard touchdown in the second quarter. That really ends his night and the difficulty of the game for the Niners. So I think yardage if we get a decent number.
Okay, so 56.5 is the yardage for George Kittle.
Yep.
All right.
He's gone over each of those last 2 games. He's going to go over this game against a much worse defense.
Then your 3-leg same-game parlay is at plus 582. And now we always want to add this is a good 3-leg base same-game parlay. San Francisco 49ers minus 7.5. Bryce
How
Young.
about Kittle to score a touchdown?
Well, let's get there. First, let's get there. San Francisco
One at a time.
49ers minus 7.5. Bryce Young over 204.5 passing yards, and George Kittle over 56.5 receiving yards. That is at plus 582. And now we want to kick it up a notch, and we want to add something else to make this a very, very attractive, hopefully juicy, north of 11-1, 12-1, maybe even higher same game parlay. And so here is what I am going to propose, Mackenzie Rivers.
Lay it on.
I think that we need to do another Carolina Panthers player to go over in order to maximize the negative correlation.
All right. I don't think, for the same reason I like Bryce Young to go over, I know Rico Dowdle's their best player. I don't like him to go rushing over because I think they're going to be out of that game script.
Okay.
So who else are we looking at?
McMillan? This is what I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
The 49ers defense will do, I think, a good job of defending the outside wide receivers. I think that they're going to do a good job of defending Teterow and McMillan. Don't call him Teterow and McMillan. And I think they'll do a good job of limiting Xavier Legette. I love it how you have to say Legette now. It's not Xavier Legette. It's like Xavier Legette, right?
Very la-di-da.
Yes. I think that they will have a difficult time stopping the slot. And so I believe Jalen Coker could have a successful game here against the 49ers if they take away McMillan and Legette. And so I will propose, and it's going to be correlated with the Bryce Young passing yardage prop, but I'm going to propose going in over on Coker to go over, let's see, his receiving yardage prop is at 29.5. His receptions prop is at 2.5. I think let's go over Jalen Coker 2.5 receptions. He's getting 3 catches in this game.
Can we do an alternate if we really want to juice it up?
You want to ladder it?
I mean, you look at the way you look at the way the 49ers have been hollowed out. It's all in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Maybe over 3.5, maybe over 4.5. But what is it first? First things first, and I'm learning this from you. What is the Jalen Cooker over 2.5 with the rest right now?
Plus 900.
And can you just ladder it to make it what's over 4.5?
So let's see. Alternate receptions for Jalen Coker. Let's go 4+ catches.
Yeah.
Plus 1335.
So that's over 3.5.
That's over 3.5. Yep.
I like it.
Okay.
I mean, I want to be a little greedy, but 13-1 is pretty good.
13-1 is pretty good. I think I like it as well. All right, let's have some fun here. Base 3-leg same game parlay. San Francisco 49ers minus 7.5 with George Kittle to go over 56.5 receiving yards and Bryce Young over 204.5 passing yards at plus 582. We're going to add in Jalen Coker to not have 3 catches. No, forget that. We're kicking it up and we're going Jalen Coker to have 4 or more catches in the game tonight for the Panthers, plus 1335 up on the FanDuel Sportsbook. That is how we build ourselves a same-game parlay. Let's get slotty tonight, Mackenzie, with Jalen Coker. Before we wrap,
Be an ethical slot guy, Cooker.
yeah. Before we wrap things up, Mackenzie, we played a system play in the NBA yesterday, and it did not go our way. The system,
Right.
which, by the way, is still extremely profitable this year, that is, what are we talking about, guys? Well, if you've been following Mackenzie and I for the past couple of seasons, you know that we love betting on the Celtics after a loss. We bet the Celtics opponent's team total to go under after the Celtics lose a game. Last season, 19-6 to the team total under for the Celtics opponents after a loss. The Celtics under, it started with Ime Udoka, it continued with Joe Mazzulla. They have a defensive mindset. They like to hit the reset button after a loss and refocus defensively. Well, this season, prior to yesterday, it was 6-1 to the under for the opponent's team total after the Celtics lose a game. But yesterday, the Magic said, forget that, and we're going to score 40 points in the fourth quarter. And the Magic go over their team total pretty convincingly. Celtics get the win, 138-129. The team total does not go anywhere near the under.
No, it really ended in the second quarter when the Celtics scored 48 points. And I think watching the game, the Magic have said such a bad offense for so long. They didn't care so much about losing the game as much as they want to keep this momentum up with Desmond Bane playing better and Franz Wagner making like Paolo Banchero who. So it was a matchup thing. Both teams, the Celtics, had the slowest pace in the NBA entering the day. They wanted to kick it up a little bit. And the Magic, even more than winning games right now, want to establish themselves as a better half of the league offense, which they haven't been in 10 years.
Yep, that's a good point. And we're going to monitor this next time the Celtics lose a game. Well, we're going to be on it once again. Busy schedule in the NBA tonight, Mackenzie. You are currently working on your model. I'm sure you're going to refine the model here for games that are coming up here tonight. Can you give us one or two, though, right now as a little teaser before we send out an article here to our Better Day subscribers on Monday on the model plays here for this Monday night?
On Saturday, we played against the Bucks because we're like, hey, they're shooting 47% from three or whatever. That's Steph Curry land. As a team, they're doing this. They're not going to replicate it. We easily won. The Pistons won. What's even better, though, is that they shot 45% from three again. Think about this. What you're worried about when you're saying this team's shooting too hot, I'm going to bet against them. Well, maybe you'll get unlucky and they stay hot. But if they are hot and they stay hot and they lose by 20 points, you have nowhere to go but down. Even if they replicate the ridiculous shooting percentage, we're 50-50. If, like I think is going to happen, they're going to regress to being 40, 38%, then they are massively overvalued in the market. If you're looking at their recent margins, which most models do, they should be losing by 20 points per game, and they're only losing by 10 points a game. I think you want to fade them pretty much. Them and the Wizards, not a bad idea to fade them every game right now. The Blazers, they go to Milwaukee, they get a win.
Okay. Will you have, how many model plays do you think we'll have tonight on the slate for Monday?
I think there's 3 model plays on the day.
Okay. All right. Well, again, and what Mackenzie has done a great job at is he waits to see the games that he agrees with the model. So we kind of filter out the mess and then give you the top plays here for the NBA slate, which we'll have here for you. And we'll post that up on betterday.com. We'll email it to you guys. And for you new Better Day subscribers, the Better Day Insider, Better Day Premium, you'll get the picks sent directly to our brand new Telegram channels. So that is the big boost here that we are adding to our subscription tiers, which launched officially today. More information about the subscription tiers can be found up on betterday.com. But the new features, the new Telegram channels, you'll get every pick sent directly to your mobile device. For Mackenzie Rivers, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.